What's going on, guys? Today I'm making a delicious steak salad. So we're gonna be starting with the dressing. So to start, I have a 1/4 cup of some mayonnaise. I'm gonna add that to a medium bowl. Next, I have a 1/4 cup of some grated Parmesan cheese. Then I have 2 minced anchovy fillets, and then a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Then I have 2 cloves of garlic I'm gonna crush up. And now I'm gonna whisk this all together. Okay, now that I have it all whisked together, I'm gonna slowly pour in a 1/4 cup of buttermilk as I whisk together. And last but not least, I have a 1.5 teaspoons of some lemon juice, freshly squeezed. Then you just give it a taste. Woo! Wow, that's perfect. All right, I'm gonna let this chill in the fridge, and next I'm gonna get out my steak. All right, I'm gonna get out a quick tray with some parchment paper lined, and then I already have my steak previously seasoned. I did this over 24 hours ago to really let it marinate. But if you haven't seasoned your steak yet, give it a generous seasoning with some kosher salt and some fresh cracked pepper. Before I actually get it onto the parchment paper, I don't wanna get the parchment paper wet, so I'm just gonna quickly, with a paper towel, just gonna pat this dry. I'm gonna put that side down. Now I'm gonna pat the top. Basically, you want it to be dry. All right, next I got some olive oil here. I'm just gonna fill up this little dish. And all I'm doing here, I'm just gonna brush the steak with some of this oil. So what the oil is gonna do is it's gonna help the steak to brown better, and it's gonna prevent it from sticking to the grill. All right, now that we have that, we can set that aside. Next up, I have an entire head of some romaine lettuce here. And what I'm gonna do with this is I'm actually gonna cut it in half lengthwise and then in half again. So there we go, here's half. So we're left with 4/4 here. Now I'm gonna wash these. All right, I have all my leaves nice and washed. I'm just gonna go over them with a towel so they're completely dry. We want them totally dry. If you can, let them air dry for like 30 minutes to an hour so that they're nice and dry. Maybe start by washing the leaves instead of waiting until now. You really gotta go in here and almost just dry it by hand if you're trying to go quick like me. Because we're also gonna be brushing these with oil, and if the leaves are wet, the oil's not gonna stick as well. All right, I feel like these are about dry enough. So I'm gonna come over these. I'm using a different brush this time so that I'm not mixing the meat with the leaves. Doesn't really matter how it gets on there, as long as it gets on there. Once again, this is gonna help when we're grilling the leaves. You can go ahead and flip these over and do the other side as well. These things really do soak up that oil, wow. I'm gonna get out a quick tray. I'm just gonna place these on the tray. All right, once you get those onto the tray, you can go ahead and put them aside until we're ready to grill. All right, next up, I have a nice crusty Italian loaf of bread. And I'm just gonna slice this up, I'd say about like 1 inch thick pieces. Gotta get that crust off, you know what I'm saying? Oh, banker. And we'll take off that chunk too. Airball, you believe it? All right, so we're going for about this thickness right here, about 1 inch. Something nice to chew on, nice and thick. That's what we're looking for right there. Now, I'd say each plate would get about 1, and we're only doing about 4 plates. So I guess you could say this is gonna be extra, and I'll do 6 instead. Once again, we're gonna brush these with oil because we're gonna be grilling them. You don't need a ton because they do soak up that oil. You can almost just dab it on like this. It actually works a little easier. Go ahead and give these a flip, and just gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right, looks about good right there. I'm gonna get yet another tray and I'm gonna place on. All right, now I'm gonna place these aside until we're ready to grill. All right, next you wanna get some cherry tomatoes. And we just need a cup. And all we're gonna do with these tomatoes is just take them like this, slice them in half, and then take each half and slice it in half one more time until you get little quarters. And then do that until you get a cup of quartered tomatoes. All right, once you get a cup like this, you can put that aside and then it's time to grill. So turn your grill on to medium heat and get that steak ready to go. All right, so I got my grill on at medium heat, and I'm gonna cook this on one side for about 5 minutes and then flip it, cook it another 5 minutes on the other side. Woo, look at those. Look at those grill marks. I'm gonna pull this puppy off. Next up, we have the lettuce. I'm just gonna do about 1 minute per side. Give them a quick flip after 1 minute. After 1 minute on each side, you're gonna pull them off. Last but not least, you're gonna go ahead and place on your bread and leave that for about 2 minutes. All right, it's been about 2.5, 3 minutes. See, they have a nice little brown on them. Gonna leave those for a few more minutes. Finally, take off your bread. All right, I'm gonna cut up this steak here. So I'm gonna get all this steak onto a plate. I mean, just look at that. Come on. Doesn't that look insane right there? Okay, next I have a large cutting board, and I'm just gonna coarsely chop all this up. And that's gonna do it right there. And if you can, I like to pull out the stem of the romaine lettuce, just because I don't think anyone wants to be eating that. Once you chop your leaves, you're ready to serve. So set this aside. To serve, you're gonna get a large scoop of lettuce. Next, you're gonna get some steak. Next, add some of those quartered cherry tomatoes. Then add your bread. And last but not least, drizzle some of that Caesar dressing over everything. Here goes nothing. Oh my God, that dressing. I don't even know what to say. The romaine lettuce grilled just makes an insane flavor and crunch. The tomatoes are unbelievable. The steak, perfection. And the Italian crusty bread is just, it perfectly tops an already amazing dinner. This is just one of those meals that hits different in the summer. I mean, just look at that. But if you stayed all the way till the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next video.